Hero Club presents Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu.
Welcome to Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu, episode 84. This week I'm not going to go dyslexic on you. I'm your host and co-creator, Wheelchair21, and joining me tonight, first off, is the original Mike of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. It is Janitor frickin' Joker.
That's right, Wheelz. We're live in Seattle, North Carolina, in the Hero Club headquarters, where you cannot enter. Do not knock on our front door. We will kick you out. We will hit you on the side of the head and call the cops. Please do not enter our building. We don't like you entering our building. If you have to enter our building, please use the side door. And if you're here for metal, use the back door.
Alright, and also joining the original Mike is the secondary Mike, Sound Out frickin' 12.
The secondary Miker.
So, I'm still on the hunt for Albagoths. If anyone has any leads, hit me up on Twitter.
Oh yeah, by the way, for those who may not know or be not aware of that at this point, because I don't know if we've addressed on this show or not, yeah, Sound Out is drastically searching for Albagoths. That is a part of the Ninja Talks continuity as well as our own, so it's, you know, that MCU goodness of jokes roll over from other shows. And since I mentioned how there is continuity and, you know, cohorts about, we might as go to the one and only host of Ninja Talks, Visible Ninja.
Screw the back door, just coming through the front and piss everybody off. I don't care.
Exactly. Because if you have a desk in front of your front door and a sign on it, well then, I guess you must be blind if you came through that door.
I can't believe we kicked out that mother and son, though.
Hey, you need to call an RSVP if you're gonna show up for Make-A-Wish.
You have to message us through Facebook and Twitter at the same time.
I thought we had to message through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the same time.
Exactly. And I really hope the friend that we're loosely referencing a very bad experience about does listen to this show and just go, God damn, these guys, why are you being assholes to me? Well, that's because we're your friends. Okay, at least maybe some of us are your friends. I can never tell with Mucha. Yeah, so here's the thing about this week's episode. So, for our lit list, we gotta talk about some remembrances for people who have recently passed away. We're gonna also talk about a new Kamen Rider trademark. And because Mucha's here, we're gonna do a topic that he's been wanting to do for quite some time and has pre-planned with us way in advance for this episode. A thing called Fusion Up Riders. It's very similar to the Fusion Up aspect that we did with Super Sentai ages ago, off the motif of Ultraman Orb as well as Ultraman Geed. Yeah. So, with that being said, at the time of recording, editing, and rendering and producing our video for episode 83, we had just learned about the death of Ninja Storm actors Pua Magavisa, or Visa. I screwed that one up. I apologize. Sound Out will correct me shortly. As well as Ninja Storm villain Grant McFarland. Pua was Shane the Red Ranger. Grant McFarland was Lothor, as well as the voice of Sensei and actual human actor of Sensei, and went on to have a cameo appearance in Power Rangers Samurai. Interestingly enough, we only learned of Grant McFarland's death shortly after Ninja Storm's Red Death to the mass public. Now, with Grant's death, we knew that for some time he had been sick in late 2018. However, no official announcement was stated on if he ever had came out of the hospital, you know, feeling well, or had he passed due to possibly, I think, pneumonia. And now we have the clarification on what had occurred. Not many news outlets even knew about this to begin with, whether he was sick or how he was doing, until now. Some people saw it through other actors talking on social media, but no one really clicked in. Whereas with Pua, it was a huge accident. A lot of people immediately assumed it was suicide. However, cause of death, I think, has still not been confirmed, because from what we know from the family and friends that at least did report on social media, Pua was found at least normal, so we don't think there was foul play, and we do not think there was suicide yet, so it could have actually been just some crazy accident that could have occurred. Other than that, though, you know, condolences to the family and friends of both actors and whatnot, and we'll do a slight remembrance talking about why we like Ninja Storm and their roles on the series. First off, I'm gonna go right to Sound Out, seeing that I think that was a influential series for him.
Ninja Storm is very near and dear to my heart, because it was the Power Rangers season that I couldn't watch on TV, but I sought out on DVD. And it was one of those things that, like, I really tried to find the show. When I did, I fell in love with it. I really fell in love with it. So anything to do with Ninja Storm always gets me just, like, straight in my heart, in my core being. And over the weekend it was very tough, and I was just, like, not processing things too well. It was just a really hard weekend, honestly.
All right. I guess that was pretty simple and to the core. Visible Ninja, you're next.
Ninja Storm's an interesting season because it is, the first of the full-on Disney seasons. So there is a lot riding on it, but the cast actually did pretty well. And Pua was actually part of that reason because Shane, like all the Ninja Storm Rangers, he was into extreme sports. In his case, it was skateboarding. And of course, skateboarding was kind of the hot thing at the time. So, yeah. But, he, was a good guy and then, had issues with his family, especially his brother, played by his actual brother. I don't know why. I like Shane. He's not exactly... Let's just say he's not near the top of my list when I think of Red Rangers, but that isn't to say that he wasn't a good one. And, it's always unfortunate when, somebody, especially, in their 30s, unfortunately dies. So it's always, very unfortunate.
All right. Mucha, you're next.
It was kind of surprising. I didn't even know something like that occurred until I looked on Twitter. I was like, so he's dead? Jeez. That was sudden. It felt very sudden. It was like when CC Ranger died and we found out about it. It was very sudden. You don't really know how to react when something unexpected happens. And as for Shane, was it, right?
Yeah, it was Pua. Shane was the one who we found out just died. That was the more sudden one. And then having the clarification on Grant Lothor was the follow-up, within 48 hours.
I haven't watched much of Ninja Storm. I glanced a little bit at it. It seemed like it was, the Power Rangers that Disney wanted to make, I guess. And I guess it came at an appropriate time for some fans, since it felt like it wasn't as stagnant as what Saban was doing. So it was kind of a breath of fresh air for what Ninja Storm was doing. But yeah, it kind of sucks. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't know the guy, but yeah, prayers for his family, for both people's families.
All right. For me, I've mentioned it several times, I think, on this podcast and in other shows that I've been a part of, that with Ninja Storm, when it first was happening, I legitimately was kind of on that outs of I was kind of done with Power Rangers with how Wild Force kind of ended. It was all right. It was okay. I was still interested in the mechas and the suits, having, recently come in contact more with its original source material, Super Sentai. And leading up, because of X Games being a huge thing in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was unenthusiastic about it because I don't usually throw around the term, but it was very ableistic, and I'm not really, in a sense, I never was usually like that too much as a kid. I was into other stuff that, people that were normal could walk around and do. But when it came to X Games, I think it was because it became such a huge niche fad that was a thing of 99 to 2002, that it was just so everywhere and so fluent because of Tony Hawk and skateboarding. So when you see all these kids doing it and you can't do it, it kind of turned me off. So going into Ninja Storm, I was I don't want this show. I was against it. And then watching some of the episodes and then seeing how the cast actually did stuff outside of the whole X Games motif of their everyday lives was actually very interesting. And I really took to this cast, every member of this cast. I really enjoyed them, and I didn't really have a least Ranger. I think Shane personally stood out the most, other than Cam. Him and Green were probably the highlights of the show, followed by, Sensei the guinea pig and Lothor, played by Grant McFarland. So I think they resonate really well with the audience because Shane, as well as even Dustin, had that very weird comedic tongue-in-cheek kind of vibe with what you needed to do to get kids, whether it be young kids or preteens, to be interested in what the show was kind of being about, as Power Rangers tried to, I guess you would say, went to a VR Troopers-esque demographic kind of being that older kid audience, similar to Time Force tried to be and Lightspeed Rescue did compared to the earlier seasons of Saban's Power Rangers. So I really did have a huge interest in that change of pace of show. And I think that Shane, I've been hearing a lot of people say he's one of the most underrated Red Rangers. When I'm looking and I'm when you look at the first 3 or 4 Disney era Red Rangers, they're really strong characters, but I think the problem is they're always overshadowed of characters like Carter, Wes, and unfortunately the 2 times Tommy was and Jason. You pair them up, you have a pretty good concisive team of 8 great Red Rangers. When you go from Ninja Storm to almost Mystic Force and yada yada yada, it's usually after Mystic Force it gets more skeptical of what makes a good Red Ranger, what makes a good intentional leader role. So, Shane's up there pretty high. I think he's within the top 10 of the best Reds that there can be, without including immediately Crimson or Quantum. And, McFarland as Lothor, he really got to do a lot of things that were sort of a first with Power Rangers. He's, I think, one of the only, Ranger villains that legitimately breaks the fourth wall on more than one occasion. He literally does stuff where he looks right at the camera and goes, what, you thought he was going to grow smaller? He does other stuff like looking at the camera saying, how many Ranger colors are there, or how many more Rangers are there going to be? Because people have made memes about when Q Ranger came out of him shouting, how many more effing Rangers are there? And then there's the big time finale in one of the final episodes when he gets his Megazord, which is really the true form of Tao Zanto, and Hurricaneger. He's like, I've been waiting to do this all season. Lothor knew he was in a television show, which is probably why I think a lot of fans usually hated him or loved him. It wasn't until I got more into the fan community did I see a lot of people hate Lothor because he broke the fourth wall of this being, an actual existing universe rather than it's a television show. And I think that's why I think Ninja Storm gravitates as a show that really drags people in.
To mention with other than Grant McFarland is not only just his work as Lothor, but, he was playing double duty being the sensei and Lothor. So he was the mentor and the villain at the same time, which I think the only other time that happened was during Turbo with Dimitri and Diva Talks. So you have, he's got the distinction of being the mentor and the villain. Which works out great when they pull the twist of, they're twin brothers. And the other thing is that he also did return to Power Rangers many years later in Samurai, for a, one-off role as a wise sensei character that gave them the black box morpher. And, it was kind of nice that, we had Ninja Storm, which was very rooted in Japanese culture as well because of the Ninja Academy aspect. And then we had Samurai, which was extremely rooted in Japanese culture with the whole samurai aspect and the way, everything costumes of that. And so then having kind of that tied connection that way between, the actor, being in two kind of similar roles, but in the same way, it just kind of felt familiar and nice.
Yeah, cause as the sensei, I gotta say, while he was a decent sensei, I felt because he was a guinea pig, he never got to be too effective in the show's progression. But I do gotta say, as the involvement, a lot of people still gravitate towards his villain role because it was him on screen and, he did all of the zany, crazy stuff expected of him. And with Shane, like I said, a lot of people say he's underrated. I don't think that's true. That's my last concluding thought for now. But we got one big other piece of news, like we said, is a new Kamen Rider trademark, because it is the middle of May. It's almost near the end of the month at this point in Japan by how their mind works. And usually about June to July, we get that trademark for our next series. And interestingly enough, the first series of the Reiwa Era, yeah, it's gonna happen. It's coming. There's no hiatuses like we want it to be. It's going to be called Kamen Rider 01, but there's also a slight play on words where, because of how it's written, it could also actually mean Reiwa or Wei 1. So it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing, and Toei's thinking they're being little wise asses as usual. So we're gonna, now talk about that a bit. I want to go right to, actually no, Soundout's gonna blow up at this, and it's gonna be good. I'm gonna go to Mucha first.
I don't know what to really say because it's just a title, Wheelz. What do you think? This is Rio Soldier all over again, Wheelz?
Yeah, I mean, I want you to roast it like you wanted me to do for Ryu Soldier that one night. Yeah, do it.
Oh, Wheelz, you're expecting too much from me. It's almost like you're expecting something big from us, your castmates, and you're not going to get it from me. I will not appease your desires, Wheelz. I will not appease them.
This is your counterattack. You got to appease yourself.
I know. I gotta slam a meteor into Toei. I gotta slam Access into Toei and save the Earth by killing it. Such is my plan.
Exactly. Just like we're putting.
It's basically you just called it 01 because it has a pun with the Reiwa Era, and that's basically it. I mean, what do you expect from them? It was going to be a pun. It wasn't going to be called something cool or anything like that. It was just going to be a pun. And good for them. They've got college credit for something, I think. What will the show involve? I don't know. What will it be about? I don't know. What has Rider ever been about something that's claimed to be at the start of it? Never. Never, never, never. Not since Double, or maybe Kuga.
Alright, Visible Ninja, your brief assumptions just by the name alone.
01. Again, other than the obvious Reiwa pun, because ha ha ha, Toei, you so clever. But 01 basically reminds me, well, that and a certain phone braver, but it has me more thinking because 01 is binary. They're the two numbers in binary code, either a 0 or a 1. So I think the rumors of this being a technology-based rider are probably going to be right, especially with the supposed motif of like Walkman / consumer electronics. It's almost like we're going back to Fies here. Jesus.
Oh, now you catch my interest. Now you piqued my interest.
Yeah. But like I said, you can't really infer much from just a name, but that's just kind of my 2 cents.
I mean, we inferred what Reese Soldier was going to be about, and we were completely wrong. So, really.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, with Visible Ninja's, slight assumptions or what he's heard on the grapevine, actually does sound like an interesting theory, at least outside of us just roasting the name. I gotta say, good theory thus far. It's an interesting idea and concept in that generalization. But, Sound Out, I want to hear you explode.
The show needs a hiatus. Like, I'm just saying, it's all starting to blend together. We've had Kamen Rider 1. We've had Kamen Rider Super 1. Now we have Kamen Rider 01. You know what else had a 01? Kikaider. Kikaider's brother. Kikaider 01. 01 is a very common thing. It's been used a ton of times. I'm just like, at this point, I don't care. Let's just see if the show turns out good. I'll be more interested when we hear cast and crew and mostly writer, head writer. Head writer's a big thing right now. Head writer is the biggest detail.
What if the opening is exactly like Kikaider 01's opening?
I will simultaneously be mad but still be watching it. If that makes any sense?
Whoa, 01. Kamen Rider 01. Oh man, let's start it now. Let's start our own.
Let's make our own Kamen Rider 01 where he's Super 1's protege and he's red and blue because reasons.
Well, that's because kids love the color red.
And the color blue apparently, because they use that color scheme a lot.
Oh god, don't make me remember about the infamous why red wasn't used in old Sentai mechas because of the incident with Ideon. Don't make me remember that one, Sound Out, because ever since Visible Ninja told me that story, I'm just sitting there going, what the hell?
Tell everyone the story.
Okay, so I guess since you don't know this, Mucho, right? I've told you this, is that Visible Ninja had this discovery that he saw where a former, I think, Bandai executive that was a carryover from what Bandai was beforehand, was it Papa Nika or whatever, stated that because sales plummeted during Ideon, Papa Nika / Bandai and all the other companies that I guess it consolidated, assumed that because it was the color red, no one wanted it. So that's why Sentai mechas use stuff like blues, whites, and all that stuff, like all these brighter colors, because they thought like a deep or a dull or just any variation of a color red wasn't that suited. And I think, what was it, the first mecha to really reincorporate like red as a main color scheme didn't come till like way past Bioman, because Bioman had a bit of red and Battle Fever Robo had a little bit of red, but it wasn't the primary color for the scheme. But that's a whole nother story. With 01 though, like I want to get back on that real fast. That entire topic is kind of confusing because like if there is going to be a pun on Reiwa, we don't really know what that theme can actually logically effing be. I think Visible Ninja is the only one where at least it has some sound state proof of mind that it's nothing more than possibly computerized and technology based. However, like it also seems like fans are not entirely reaching for something that isn't entirely there, but it doesn't also sound like something Toei would immediately do, since Toei, when it comes to technology at times, doesn't usually correlate too well in at least the modern era past decade. Like they've kind of dwelled in technology, they dwelled in mysticism, and then they kind of like jump around very scatteredly throughout, Heisei Phase 2 double to now, where we've had a mix of, magic and tech. So it's like, could they go very grounded, or will it be crazy? Who knows? With a name like 01 though, like it really feels like, are they trying to reach? Are they like, did they look over and see Tsuburaya doing TaJa and go, oh, it's connected to the Showa era, or at least the original continuity, maybe we need to do something like that too. And then boom, they're like, we'll call it 01 because people will remember Ichigo and characters like V3. Like, is that what they're trying to do? I don't really know. Honestly, I feel like if you want to reboot Kamen Rider right, don't immediately just go into the Reiwa era acting like it's been the last 20 years. Maybe take a break, like Soundout says. Maybe get Shirakura out of office. Bring in fresh talent. Bring in people who actually know how to work the property correctly. I don't effing know. Like, I don't know if it's Shirakura. I don't know if it's the writers. I don't know if it's Bandai. It seems like it's just a goddamn crock pot of crap going on that we ourselves can't even figure out. We can only hope that they end up with a masterpiece, but we won't know for like another month and a half till we start seeing either television scans, teaser trailers, and, you know, the inaugural press conference to unveil every frickin' thing. You know, there's so many things that we don't know yet. I mean, we're gonna probably have toy scans coming out before we even get any of the real official information, and that's gonna lead to false expectations, because look what happened with Geo. We did the toy scans, and then like a week later press conference, and then the show came, and we're not entirely happy with it.
Some of us aren't. Others are.
I said not entirely, which meant you and Visible Ninja. Specifically, Visible Ninja and you, who are like, I'm indifferent on the show. And then you're like, I love this crap. And there's me and Sandra going, well, we pick through it like we're like 5-year-old kids trying to like pick out our favorite vegetables from a salad kind of thing.
I mean, that's literally how I approach the show.
That's probably the best way to like make that analogy. So that's all I can say. That's practically been our news, you know, our brief memorial to our Ninja Storm actors, our passing Ranger actors, and this new trademark that came out. I don't think there's really any other big time news regarding Tokusatsu at this time, or big enough that it's caught our attention just yet. And so we're going to move on to our main discussion, which is going to be a fusion up rider motif. You got to come up with a rider combination. You don't really have to have a definitive name for this combination, but it has to play off the idea of Ultraman format of Ultraman Orb and Ultraman Geed. Take 2, boom, make some powers, try to figure out what's the best pairing, and go from there. It's kind of like that. That's the best analogy that I can literally come up with. We've done this before with Super Sentai, and we're doing it with Rider, and eventually Mooch is going to put a gun to my head and said, now we're going to do Metal Heroes, which is going to be so much easier since there's only like 12 of them.
Next episode, Metal Heroes, fusion up.
You know I'm going to fuse Counterattack with Gaban just to destroy the world.
You fool. You foolish fool. You picked the wrong target.
Alright, so Mooch, since this is your idea, I'm going to let you go first and do a fusion.
Oh, I have to do a fusion? Why do I have to do a fusion, Wheels? This is my topic. Everybody else should go first.
Well, you're the one who came up with it, so I'm letting you do it since I'm the host.
Ah, man. Why do you gotta make me do it, man? This is my show today. As the title implies, this is my counterattack, and it must be done. So anyway, who would Toei and Bandai choose to be their Kamen Rider fusions? Because we all know that Toei has a loyalty to certain writers as opposed to others. Just like with TaJa and the original, who would combine with who? So I decided to combine, if this was the Shirakura version, we're combining Ichigo with another popular writer that sells to this day that Soundout's gonna love, that I'm gonna fuse with Ichigo. Can Soundout guess who it is?
It's Fides or Zio or something I hate.
No, it's Ryuki, you fool. You goof.
Oh, that's actually genius.
You know, right? I'm a clever boy. Yeah, I'm going to combine Ichigo and Ryuki to make, I don't know, Ryugo, the legendary, Super Saiyan. Just kidding. He's not Broly. I would assume that he would use the card gimmick, but differently. Perhaps he inserts it in his belt that makes it spin, and it summons, like, a cyclone of fire. I'm just spitting ideas out here, man. But
you could do something involving the wind where it's just like, you just throw cards out and the wind whips them around. That's how he henshins.
Exactly. He just whips his cards like he's playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Or here's a better idea. He rips the belt off like the version 1 Kaiba dual disc where he throws it out like a thing on a police string, you know?
Oh god.
Like on a karat. Like it's on a karat and it just like, you know, chicken wire and he retracts it back.
Oh, and then his final attack is, his final event is him summoning the Blue Eyes White Dragon, but not really. It's like a wind dragon.
Like, think Drag Redder, but he actually, like, grows wings, but they're, like, wings of a grasshopper.
It's Drag Redder, but it's actually Rayquaza with bug wings. I think we're on to something here, boys. I think we just created the perfect...
Well, I mean, this is what happened last time. We just threw out the ideas, and then we let our minds take it where we wanted to go for our carry-on of this discussion of our fusion. So, anyone else want to add to Mooch's fusion, or should we continue to someone else's?
He has a dragon made of a motorcycle.
Exactly. So
oh god, yeah, it would
like
also
it.
turn into a motorcycle too, yeah.
Yeah. Kamen Rider Ryugo, the skilled, knight. I don't know. The skilled cardsman. The skilled duelist. There we go. The skilled duelist. He plays Yu-Gi-Oh! And kicks your ass in the meanwhile.
Alright, next person up, let's actually go with the other Mike.
Okay, so mine's fun. Think of it this way. I'm gonna take the powers of Kamen Rider Super 1 and mix them with Kamen Rider Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yo, hold on a second. Me and Mucha jokingly made up that fusion last frickin' night while we were planning this episode.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, my concept behind this is that Super 1 has the 5 hands and the more tactile martial arts skill, while Wizard has the finesse, but he also has, like, the alternate forms. It's like, Super 1 has his 5 hands, Wizard has, like, 4 base forms. So essentially you kind of work the same idea of, like, instead of, like, Super 1, like, oh, I have strength hands, he has, like, hands that can manipulate the ground, or hands that can manipulate fire, or hands that can manipulate water. And so
he's
like,
the Avatar.
What was that?
I said he's the Avatar.
He's the Avatar. If the Avatar had to remove his hands every time he wants to change powers.
Are you gonna call him Kamen Rider Super Wiz for the Wiz kids?
Super Wizard.
Super Wizard. Magical gloves.
Essentially, that's kind of where the concept ends. Also, he gets to use the sword more, because Super 1's sword is cool.
But
yeah, Super 1 did have a bitchin' sword.
But sound out. Does his hand burn? Is his hand burning red? And is his loud roar telling him to defeat him?
The he hands are burning red with the roaring power to defeat his enemies.
Excellent. Are they erupting, one might say?
Yes.
Dun 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 dun.
He's inadvertently turning this into a Gundam show.
No, man. Why would I ever do that?
Because you weren't on Ninja Talks. But one thing I want to also address with this fusion is if you're doing Super 1 with Wizard, will it actually help him avoid his tax evasion and fraudulent claims?
Yes,
no, he's a federal employee.
Because the base silver hands are going to be the connect hands, so he can just reach through portals.
No, you're not seeing the bright side to it, Sound. No, he's a federal employee now. He's an astronaut.
Oh, that's true.
So really, they owe him money.
Alright then, Visible Ninja, your first fusion.
Well, I'm probably gonna go with probably the laziest one that we've done so far, which is really, I guess, speaks to my character, because I'm going to fuse our boy, Amazon, that is OG Amazon, not, horrifying, bloody shit on. Yeah, OG Amazon with another ultraviolet rider, Shin, forming Shinizon. Why? Because what the world needs more of is gory ultraviolence, because if Mortal Kombat's taught me anything, it's you don't just kill your opponent, you tear their brain out and then shove it up their ass. Or something like that.
That is a fatality in the game, yes.
Well, no, I'm just saying is because they're both somewhat renowned for their violence and their blood. Powers. Yeah, their blood is to make, monsters vomit orange foam until they blow up in a bloody gibbed mess. Yeah, and basically just imagine that, Amazon with an actual working mouth and horrifying, twisted, monster-like appearance.
Sounds like the stuff made in my dreams.
Are we calling him the Gigi Monster? Because that's what we're going to call him.
We could do that too, yeah. I guess it would be, well, I guess, speaking of Amazons, I guess he'd be more like, what is it, Alpha and Omega's, Amazon form. Would they actually look like a bestial monster version of the original Amazon? But like that, but a bit more horrifying and more guts and blood and, oh my god, what is this shit?
Gigi Soldier level 3, let's go.
Yes, Gigi Soldier. Or Gigi Genetics. I don't know.
Well, hey, Shin did perform a fatality in his movie, so he did Sub-Zero's spine rip.
Yeah.
Of course, the head was still alive and then blew up, but...
Yeah, semantics.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, I have a fusion for you guys. This is one that actually just dawned on me just right now. This is not one that me and Mucha came up previously that I'm re-remembering. It's actually Kamen Rider X, and I'm going to fuse it with Kamen Rider X Zade. So you actually have a doctor with a gaming, fake doctor, and it would be Kamen Rider X Site, where, you'd have like your level 1s, your 2s, your 3s and 5s, but on top of that, you would have the incorporation of X's multi-tool accessories and abilities. You would have, his really crazy, badass, bulky armor be actually like his level grade scale. So instead of having like the weird open up breastplate, it's like each of them actually like his multiple life bar meters that you see in video video games. Like, it'd actually be like different life bars, and as the chest, slowly devolves itself, it actually like will dissolve to show how much life meter he has left when transforming. I know that would mean like a lot of effects and visual, like, switch outs for Toei Team, but I don't give a rat's ass because this is fan fiction and we can do whatever the hell we want. I also feel like because of the gaming aspect, it would work well with when X would throw up like his baton in the air and it would just like hang there like it's nothing, and he would do like, acrobatic crap that made no sense, that broke the laws of physics. So it would work good with that gaming aspect of going into video game world. He could just throw up the baton easily and start doing like trapeze work and crazy stuff. And I think it would fit that, gimmick of breaking the fourth wall of reality and realism of doing certain like, rider moves that he did in the show. And I think the two would blend out obviously real well, at least especially with the fact that one of the base connections is that they're technically both supposed to be physicians. All right, Mucha, your next choice.
My next choice? Damn, I have to go again? Why, man? Why? Why do you put me on this poor path to destruction? Why, Wheelz? Why? So anyway.
Because it's your turn.
Okay, so anyway. We're going back to the old well of what would Toei and Bandai do? Because I'm an asshole like that. I don't have any ideas.
Oh, you're being the realist here.
I'm being the realist here. Because my name is Shar, and I'm going to pull an asteroid down on the Earth to cause an ice age to kill everyone. Because humans suck.
I won't stop you.
Fuck you, Amuro. Anyway, as the realist here, what would be another show that they would use? My mind goes to another fan favorite, V3. Because V3 is very popular and sells like hotcakes. Do you know what else sold like hotcakes and is very, very popular to this day for some unforsaken reason? Den-O. That's right. We're combining V3 and Den-O to make some monstrosity that shouldn't really exist, and yet God allowed it to happen.
It'd be called I feel like it'd be called Denline 5, and no one would understand why the 5 is there when it's supposed to be the V for 3.
Denline 5. But we're combining everything. V3 has the skills of Ichigo and Nigo. Den-O has the skills of Momotaros, Ryotaros, that other Taros, and the blue Taros, whatever their names are. You see, we're combining them together. We're going to make an amalgamation of everybody's superpowers combined to make the Technique Train Man. The technique-driven Train Man. He has all the skills in his belt, but sadly, he doesn't have the coolness of Meowchi, so he has to be stuck with Sato betraying him as like Ryotaro and just be making mistakes constantly. And this is all because Sound Out said something cool about Ryuki. This is your fault, Sound Out. V3 has now been destroyed because of you.
Whatever.
Honestly, with the V3 style of the fact that he had so many executable moves, it kind of also relates to the idea of how Momotaros would keep, like, reinventing his Hisatsu Part 5. So yeah. I could kind of see that working. I could also see that, like, the styles of the martial arts that V3 sort of, possessed and knew would also depict each 4 forms of the Taros. So it's, like, hand in cheek, even though he also has the 2 riders about him. So I could see that his base form would, like, really have to be a weird amalgamation. Because I feel like if you're trying to do Den-O, it would still have to be sword form with the dragonfly, which would work a lot better. But I feel like there would also be variations like we've seen in the Ultra Fusion fight game, where you could actually fuse other versions of Riders, Ultra's forms with other Ultra forms or whatnot. So I feel like it could actually be one of those ones where it can maybe be like you activate just full climax form with V3, you know what I'm saying? Like one of those video game exclusives. So it would explain how he has access to all of those powers as well.
And he doesn't have time travel powers. So I took that away because...
Okay, we're taking that away because that'd be like, it'd just be too broken.
Yeah, and his bike is actually a bike. There is no train. The train was a lie.
No, or here's a better one. You make it that it's like a crotch rocket thing like Ryuki drove around in.
Oh no. And
but it's shaped like the Denliner.
And it goes chugga 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 chugga.
No, that's just too nuts.
It has to be done now.
Oh my god, but here's a better part. It also has a puppet in it that's like, Ticket or what's his face, Goody, but it's a puppet of Owner.
Oh
and
god.
It's just voiced by Owner.
Oh god, that's scary. I created a monster. Please do not accept this, Toei. Please do not accept this monstrosity.
Alright, Sound Out, you're next with your next fusion.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is take the vampireness of Kamen Rider Kiba, and we're gonna fuse it with... Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Nobody help him.
I was gonna go in like this opposite direction, think of like a vampire and then a healer, but it's like now I can't think of who I'm thinking of.
Hikari's not a Kamen Rider. He is silly.
Alright, fine. I'll restart. So we're going to take the vampire-ness of Kamen Rider Kiva and fuse it with the trumpet power of Kamen Rider Ibuki, because guess what? When you take those powers together, you get violins and trumpets, which means you can make some pretty terrible music. And
he should be called Kamen Rider Mambo number 5.
I like it. He's Kamen Rider Mambo number 5. That's better than Kiva Buki. So Kamen Rider Mambo number 5 works really well because you have the Kivat, which has the Flessels, which are like whistles, which is like Ibuki's transformation device. So you kind of get that similar vein there, and then you get the musical aspect. So it's something similar to where like his primary attacks are done with magical trumpet, but his secondary attacks and finishers are done with the crazy killer violin. That's all I got.
All right. I don't know what to add to that. So, Invisible Ninja, you're up next.
Yay! Well, I'm going to throw together 2 writers that I particularly like. I'm going to throw together Kamen Rider Agito and, for a swerve, Kamen Rider Stronger into Kamen Rider Volvo. Volvo is Latin for I move. But anyways, no, my main thing here is just because, I don't know, like, the thing between, like, Shoichi and, Joe. I don't know, I just feel like that they're both kind of goofs, but they're also very kind of zen-ish warriors. Plus, you know, combining them together makes sense. Plus, then he would get electric powers as well as fire and wind-based powers. So you get kind of an elemental triple threat there. And then, of course, you have Charge and Up, which would give you yet another power-up, which would make your final form probably pretty awesome. Then you have an awesome girlfriend that gets poisoned and dies.
I like how, because he says that, everyone's just all like, this is grim dark, and I don't know what to do anymore.
I don't know, I just kind of threw those 2 together. Like, they're 2 writers I like. They're not completely compatible, but, you know, it's a stupid fusion that I think, you know, might actually be kind of cool.
All right, I'm going to go with...
Psycho Chugga 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 Chugga.
Oh, God, so. We're going to keep going with that Chugga Chugga, aren't we? No, all right, so my next fusion is one that I addressed with Mucha last night, which is actually, I'm going to take a weird fusion. Now, I don't think it relates to, technically, the characters per se of who these, you know, like, writers were as their individual forms, you know, like, without the suits on. But it's more about how does the motif work. Since Zekross is supposed to be, like, part ninja, I want to fuse Zekross with Hibiki. The reason I'm thinking about this is Onis are, in a sense, the Oni hunters or the Oni fighters of Hibiki are actually, you know, supposed to be there since, like, almost the dawn of time, almost like a very Sengoku-y, you know, Edo period of Japan. So I would think you would run across people that, you know, fought with ninjutsu and other crazy antics. So I thought, fuse a ninja with an Oni killer, and you'd get a good combination. It's like that idea of wanting to fuse maybe, say, like, Gaim because of the samurai motif with the ninjas, so you get samurais and ninjas. However, since Gaim is also extraterrestrial based, it wouldn't really suit entirely, so I thought, let's put a little bit more grounded in, like, sort of realism and fantasy of that they both exist on a level plane, and let's fuse those 2 together. So I thought ninjutsu and demon hunter would work, because then you would have demon ninja or shadow hunter, you know, whatever your writer name would be like a bleed, like, Kamen Rider blah 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 shadow hunter. And I think it would work well because of that, I think, ingenuity of ninjutsu and how they fought the demons. And it also explained to how it would have, like, a very archaic kind of look like the actual writers did in Hibiki, where they looked, you know, very old, ancient, kind of like beings for their transformed state. Anyone else have anything to add to that?
It's an interesting fusion. Yeah, I have to say that. You know, foregoing the more obvious one and fusing him with Kamen Rider Shinobi. But
that's just too stupid.
I know, it's too obvious, yeah, because
that was my idea.
He already has the ninja motif, but it's
called Kamen Rider Double Ninja.
No, that's Double Dragon.
All right, Mucha, you're next.
Okay, so we're doing the same shit all over again. Same verse, same as the first 2. But this time it's someone different. Someone we've heard before, combined with someone else we haven't heard of. That's right. I'm taking Kamen Rider Amazon, Mr. Gigi himself, and fusing him with another sort of chimera-ish Kamen Rider. Can you guess who? It's a mystery. That's Kamen Rider O's. That's right. We're fusing O's with Amazon, and we're going to make Kamen Rider, I don't know, King of the Amazon.
Amazon King.
Amazon King, the greatest Kamen Rider to exist since my last fusion. So basically what we got here is O's has the power of different animals. Technically Amazon has the power of different Amazon forest animals. So together they make a crazy, crazy chimera that has all the powers of animals. He can fly. He can go underwater. He can he can do gorilla things. He can do all the things that you could ever imagine. And then, when the chips are down, someone dies because he was incompetent. R.I.P. Mole Man. We'll miss you.
Like, I gotta say it would work too, because you would think certain Amazon animals would be a part of something like Oz's more animal motif, even though I think a lot of them were based more in, like, Africa. Most of the animals are African-based, not Amazonian-based, but it would actually be a nice idea of two worlds, of two different jungles, in a sense, to fuse the two, I think. So I think that's a good correlation that you got there, Mucha. As you fall into the microphone.
No, man, I know Toei. I know Bandai. Listen, if they made a Fusion Rider, you know this would be the combinations. You know it. You know it in your heart.
You know he's not actually wrong. So we're going to go over to Sound Out.
Okay, I'm going to pull a pretty unusual choice, per se. I'm going to take Kamen Rider Poppy Po, also known as Kamen Rider Poppy to just normal people. And I'm going to fuse her with Kamen Rider Mage, the first one, the Mayu one, because there was a lot. Now, the reason I'm doing this is so we can have the look of Poppy to fix the mage costume, because it's terrible. But on top of that, if you consider Poppy's Bugster abilities, which come with the nature of being able to wield the powers, is you get that mixed with the magic source, so you have essentially an immortal writer who also looks cute and can throw, like, magic hearts at you or something.
You just want to legitimize her as a magical girl anime.
She's going to be called Kamen Rider Magical Girl, so...
Man, I can't believe you just created Cardcaptor Sakura.
Yep. Actually, if I fused Poppy with Falm, I would have gotten Cardcaptor Sakura.
So add her to the fusion. Fuse Mage.
Oh, yeah, let's just throw Falm
Yeah,
in
why don't it just be called Kamen Rider Femtality?
Femtality? What is this? What are we getting into, Wheels?
Femtality?
Like,
that's going to be her finisher move.
Maybe, who knows? We'll come up with more dominatrix.
That's when you
things.
have sex in Mortal Kombat. Femtality. Or is that when you're pussy whipped in Mortal Kombat?
I don't know, and I don't want to explore it. Visible Ninja, you're next.
Alright, now I've been thinking long and hard about this one because, what can I say? I think this is the best one I've come up with yet. You combine the Kamen Rider that doesn't ride a bike, Kamen Rider Drive, with the Kamen Rider that has a bike but technically doesn't need one because he can fly, Sky Rider. And what do you get? Kamen Rider Sky Drive. He can fly, he can drive. Ironically, he can't swim. So, there's that.
He's not the greatest American hero.
No. But he has car-based powers and flight-based powers, so he can have a flying car, just like in Back to the Future Part 2.
And it all comes back to the Surprise Future movie, you see.
Oh, yeah.
You see, the plot is actually that Doc Brown came to the past to tell this Kamen Rider about his kids. He's like, it's your kids, Kamen Rider, it's your kids. There's something gotta be done about your kids. He became a Doc Kamen Rider.
Alright, so, my, pick, and then we'll do one more round, and then we'll wrap up if everyone's alright with that. We'll do one more round after this, and then we'll close up. So this one, I think I was talking to Mucha about this, and at first it didn't seem like it was a logical choice, but it also sounded interesting. I thought, what if you take the strength of the Earth with Kamen Rider J, and fuse it with, I guess you would say the evolution of humanity, which would be Agito, or even Kuga by that choice, and just fuse either Kuga or Agito with J to get like this super, he'd be even more supernatural than before when you think about it, because technically Jay's supposed to be like sort of a, I guess you'd say Deus Ex Machina, kind of god tier level, and Agito and Kuga are like god tier level, they're like demigod level. So it'd be like if you take either one of those and fuse that, or hell, even took in Gaim and his bullcrap stuff, or, freaking Deus Ex Machina, you would have an ultimate fusion. You just need to take either Kuga, Agito, or Gaim, fuse it with Jay, and you got one, a character that can become like an Ultraman, two, a character that keeps on evolving, and three, someone that keeps on breaking limits and is practically a god. So it's like you're multiplying infinity on infinity, most likely, and you'd have like a really swell time. Like, I think if you did it with Jay and Kuga, it would just be called like Growing Ultimate. I don't know why. It'd be like Growing Ultimate, Soundouts Dying and Sneezing. Either Agito, I think it'd be like J-O or some, I don't know, I can't think of anything right now that would work correctly, but I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
J-O, you sure about that one?
Yeah, jerk off.
But it's not jerk off because it's the Omega.
Well, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I said, you could either take Jay, fuse him with Akuga, you could fuse him with Agito, you could fuse him with Gaim, and, like, pretty much you just get, like, god-tier abilities at that point. It doesn't matter which one you throw in there. You got a pretty concisive, like, fusion.
No, Wheels, what you get is that you combine Jay with Agito and then Den-O, and then you get Kamen Rider Jojo.
God, now I want to do this.
No.
That's the perfect harmonic trinity. Jojo. Alright, Mucha, what's your final pick?
My final pick? Shit. I didn't think we'd get this far. I thought the show would be canceled by now. I'm gonna throw some darts. Kamen Rider Black with, Kamen Rider Fies, because both shows are depressing as shit. And we'll call it Depression Rider. You have the power of the Kingstone combined with technology. Like, shit. You have the Kingstone in your cell phone. How do you feel about that? And you could text with it. You can send emails at a very good rate, you know?
Oh god, you're making meta tech. This is not the current season of The Flash. Get out of here.
I've already done it, Wheels. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me.
That actually pretty weird too, because like how the Fies gear gets shifted around, the Kingstone now is in technology that can be used by anyone. So it's like if it gets out of Kotaro's hands, it's like, oh crap, the world's in danger.
Yeah. You have like the Fies linings combined with the organic muscles of Black. The chest plate that acts like a oxygen thing to help him breathe underwater and shit.
Alright, that's pretty cool. I'm starting to think of something like that it sounds like. Oh god, you're making it more Guyver-y, you son of a bitch.
What? I would never. Wheels, what are you talking about? I'm not that clever. But if we make it RX, then you get Fies RX. And you get 2 sabers that you can stab people with, and oh, that'd be great. Fun times. No, but we're gonna combine Black with Fies to make, I don't know. What's a cool name? What's a cool name I can make? Kamen Rider Flack, because everybody's gonna hate him for being related to Fies.
Okay, that works, but yeah, Sada, your final pick?
Alright, my final pick is gonna be, let's see. Let's go with, Rider Man. We're gonna take Showa Rider Man, fuse him with AR Rider Man, and fuse him with Kamen Rider Birth. Because what you're doing is you're multiplying the Rider Man, adding a dash of Gact, on top of the fact that, you know, he would eventually get the birth powers to be able to take the willpower that he has and add in multiple weapons in a full scale costume.
So you're saying you're making Kamen Rider Man squared?
It's Kamen Rider Gact Man?
No, he's the Scat Man. Skit scat scoobity scat bop bip bip bop.
There's that too.
I'm a Gact Man. Scooby Doo.
I'm a Gact Man. I'm a
Oh.
Gact Man.
Oh.
Scoobity scat bop bop bip bop.
Oh, and the way he henshins is double style, so you have to have original Showa Joji Yuki and AR Joji Yuki henshin together in order to make Gact Man.
Yo, that's not how any of these fusion ups work.
Well, guess what? That's how it's working.
You can't break the laws of physics here, bruh.
I can, because if we included Kamen Rider Double in one of these things, then that would technically be 2 people forming into one, wouldn't it?
No, you take the powers, not the peoples.
All the powers. Well, let's see with Double, you would have several things that wouldn't work unless it was 2 people fused together due to different attacks.
Oh, then you just do for Double, you get Kamen Rider Double with Black and Shadow Moon. Bam.
Alright, Visible Ninja, your pick then.
Alright, my final one's gonna be short and sweet. I'm just gonna go with X-Aid, you know, our gamer boy. And you know what? Another one of my favorite series, Blade. And combine them together, and you know what you get?
Disappointment.
Kamen Rider Battle Royale. Just like Fortnite, the last one standing wins.
Oh no.
Only this time it's a video game, or is it?
Is this the real life?
Wait, you just made Sword Art Online.
Yep.
So is it Kamen Rider Sao?
I mean, like, theoretically, it could work with Ryuki as well, because the whole, you know, if you do not fight, you will not survive thing. But, I don't know, I just threw Blade in there because, you know, the battle fight and, you know, video games.
Game Janai. It's not a game.
Plus, you could just get the Gashkon rifle and just, you know, snipe people in the head, just like actual Fortnite.
Alright, so this is my final pick, and this one I don't have the perfect name for it, but the idea in my head is called Undead Warrior. The idea of Undead Warrior, it's a trinity form of taking one chalice. On top of that, you're fusing in Kamen Rider Spectre from Ghost. Like, technically he's not dead. Technically you should be taking Ghost, but I'm taking Spectre just because I'm going for secondary or tertiary riders for this form. And then I'm going to also incorporate from actually Kamen Rider Kiva. I'm gonna use Sagark, or Saga, and put those 3 together. So it's like Undead Warrior. So you have a Fencer, you have an Archer, and then with the Spectre abilities. You would have, like, you know, ceiling chains, so you could actually hold that guy down, so you could then shoot and kill him, you know? That's my
Undead
idea.
Warrior, baby. We're playing Kaisa with that shit. Come on.
Kaisa would sort of be included too. Technically Kiba could, because he's also actually dead, but that's another story. But I wanted to go more with that specific, like, sort of horror theme, because even though the Orphanox are horror-based, the suits themselves don't reflect their, you know, Orphanox abilities like the Fangires do. So had Fies incorporated whatever, like, your Orphanox form was to your Rider form, it might have, I think, helped the show, actually. But that's neither here or there. So there's a lot of ideas that we could address on another Fusion Up episode. Maybe one day we'll do a Fusion Up of villains and kaijins, because technically that did happen also in Ultraman Geed. So we can address that on another episode too in the future. So other than that,
one more shout out, Wheelz.
Yeah, you can give one more shout out.
The ultimate form. We're going to combine Ultimate Kuga with Tackle, because you want to get killed by something great, get killed by Electro Tackle combined with Kuga's powers. Come on. Let's go home, fam.
Excuse me, but overall...
Guys, we've got the best one of all.
Alright, sound out one more, and then I want to actually wrap up.
Kamen Rider Redundancy. It's Kamen Rider Black fused with Kamen Rider Joker.
That one actually makes sense. But overall, we're going to wrap up now, because for once in the past 3 episodes or 5 episodes, we're actually over the hour mark specifically. Even by the time I'm done editing this, we're still probably going to be over an hour, which is a slight small milestone if you've seen our track record with, like, the last 3 or 4 episodes. So,
an hour.
Okay, we're not doing over Quartzer. But to wrap up first, Visible Ninja, do your plugs.
Alright, just follow me on Twitter at VisibleNinja0, check me out on YouTube at Visible Ninja Dojo, and check out me shows on said YouTube channel. Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is the Gundam show, and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, same time, which is the Tokusatsu show. Peace out.
Alright, next person to go, Mucha.
I don't plug anything, Wheelz. You know I just put everything in raw, like a fish or cell phone. I don't believe in plugs, Wheelz. Anyway, I am going to promote something called Toku Warriors or whatever, or my Twitter, because I do things on Twitter. Not much, but I do things. Some things. Good things. Bad things. Mostly bad things. Actually, I should be kicked off by Twitter by now. And we also do that show with Mike, called Mike and Mike in the Depressive Morning. That'll never happen again, because we killed ourselves.
I don't even think we exist anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, it's all because of our HR.
Okay, sound out your shameless promotions and plugs.
Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SoundOut12. On YouTube, it's also SoundOut12, where I do fun stuff like videos about toys and Toku and stuff. And I have 3 top 5s in the making that I haven't told anybody about. And y'all
top 5 Fies episodes.
What was that?
So the top 5 Fies episodes.
You know what? I'm gonna make that for your birthday.
Happy birthday to me.
And it's going to be top 5 Fies episodes from the first 8.
Alright, are you done, or were you cut off before you could finish?
I'm done. I'm good.
Alright, I'm Wheelchair21 on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Instagram is TaJa_Doyle. I do practically Tokusatsu toy reviews and whatnot. And with Hero Club, as always, you can check it out in the actual outro, or by now you already know how to follow and or contact us directly at HeroClub.com and over social media. Anyways, we'll see you next time with episode 85.
Hey, it's Wheelchair21, and thanks again for listening to an all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. If you want to hear more content or see more content from the Hero Club YouTube channel, we're going to need you to subscribe, like, comment with some feedback, and share this channel with a friend. We also would like you to check out our website, hero-club.com, and follow us on various social media outlets just by looking up Hero Club for Life, as well as the stores you see are where we shop. Anyways, thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.